Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another episode of Inside DB Rated. This is the dual commentary series where we spectate random matches on DB's ladder and just check what people are playing. So we are back from our 5-day break here. I want to thank you guys all for your very supportive and encouraging comments when I made that announcement post in the community tab a couple days ago. Definitely helped me to keep going, and I made sure to make the best use out of the break as I possibly could, just to make sure that I was taking care of myself and getting my obligations in check. But here we are back on the YouTube grind. Kind of felt actually a little bit weird, not recording. But without further ado, this is going to be a match between Shadowman333 on Infernoble Knight versus Legacy on Altergeist, actually. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get started. So it looks like Infernoble is going to take the RPS win, and they're going to choose to start both players on 40 cards. And the opening hand for Infernoble is going to be Despot 1, Dark Ruler No More, Aqua Dolphin, Durendal, and Italy. Very interesting to see this card in the main deck, Dark Ruler, just because it's not great against VW. It's good against Drytron if they end on obviously just the Herald of Ultimate S, but you still have to play through like Orange Light negation, so it's kind of weird there. They're not weird, but it's kind of like a bit awkward. And then there's also scenarios against like Dragon Link where they still have like the Dragon Maid Trap and they can activate like Seal's Graveyard effect and stuff. So overall, I think this card's not the most effective right now, but regardless, still choosing the main deck it. And this hand looks pretty good as far as comboing is concerned. Opening up the Dolphin's always nice. And then the opening hand for Altergeist is going to be Spoofing, Ash, Melisseek, Strike, and Manifestation. So this hand is pretty decent. I mean, it has Ash, but it's just going to get ripped by Dolphin, and then there's not going to be any other disruptions. So we'll see what the end board is for the Infernoble player, because they'll be able to get knowledge of the matchup as well, unless if the guy's player just scoops game 1. So going to normal summon Aqua Dolphin and use the effect. Just going to pitch the dead Dark Ruler here, and then that's going to snipe out Ash. So chooses not to scoop, which means that Infernoble can actually pivot their board, because some people are just choosing to play VFD or have VFD as part of like their options. But they're going to go and actually go for Italy next to summon out Gamma. And then they're going to go for Fiber. That's not a warrior monster. Probably just a misclick, hopefully. Oh, okay, alright, yeah, good. There was a misclick there. Gonna go for Fiber. That's gonna summon out the Despot from hand. Always sucks to draw it. But regardless, gonna go into a copy of Mega Phantom Beast Auroradon. That's going to summon out 3 level 3 tokens. And then Despot 1 comes back. And then going to go for a copy of the Underworld Fighter Balmung. This is the card that you combo with in order to actually make use of Coltwing twice in a turn. Then going to go for Auroradon. That's going to tribute 2 tokens, summon out a copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Coltwing, and then Coltwing is going to summon out 2 more tokens, and then Despot 1 comes back again. And then going to Synchro Summon for a copy of the Shooting Riser Dragon. That's going to send a copy of probably just a Gamma here, and that's going to make it a level 5 monster. And then going to Synchro those away for a copy of Charles. And then going to go for a Durendal, and then going to activate Charles to pop the Balmung, and then Balmung going to bring back the Coltwing, and then Coltwing triggers again because it's not a hard once per turn. And then going to go for Despot 1 again. And then from here, going to Synchro Summon for a copy of Herald of the Arclight, and then going to activate Durendal. That's going to go for a copy of Renaud. And then from here, going to Special Summon Renaud, and then use the effect to add back Durendal. And then going to Synchro with the level 7 Coltwing and the level 1 tuner Renaud into a copy of the Savage. And then Savage is going to equip the copy of Fiber from the graveyard, giving it 2 counters, and then going to pass. End phase, Charles will activate. That's going to equip Durendal from hand, and then Oliver from the deck. So this is pretty good, considering there was no Isolde line. I mean, I think there is a world in which you could have used Durendal on Aqua Dolphin and then go for like Fire Flint Lady. Because you could still go for Charles to pop the Balmung just by adding back the Phoenix Blade that you mill off the Isolde. But I think it's not really going to make much of a difference in general. Like, it probably won't matter. This is still a pretty solid end board for sure. And then just going to pass on that. And then the top deck is going to be Solemn Judgment for Geist. So lots of traps, including Strike, which is always very good going second. No blowout like Torrential that kind of like pair with it. Torrential Strike was the classic combination. But going to go for a normal summon to Melisseek. That is going to be fine, it looks like, because there is no roll in the graveyard here, actually, so no Charles pop. So it's only actually really 2 interruptions. Going to go to battle phase and attack for 500 damage, and then Melisseek's going to activate in the damage step. That's going to target the Savage. And Savage will be used in response to negate it. And then in main phase 2, we're going to link off the Melisseek, and they're going to go for a copy of Link Haribo. Triggering the Melisseek in graveyard to try and search, and that's going to be negated via the Herald of the Arclight. and then going to set 4 traps and pass. So Infernoble is just going to have to try and play through the traps, and they know everything but Judgment, so shouldn't be too bad, especially with Savage still on the board. In standby phase, the manifestation is going to be activated. That's going to be chained with spoofing, actually. So going to get a multi-faker off the spoofing, and then manifestation does resolve, because it resolves and then tries to equip. So that's like one of the very many weird and unique interactions with manifestation. But yeah, Melistic hits the board, and then multi-faker going to activate in hand. That's going to activate, and then faker on field is also going to resolve, and going for a copy of Silk. So choosing not to go for a Savage. Because they know that the strike is there, they maybe want to like time it a bit differently. So we'll see what happens. Oh, looks like Silk is going to be used straight up in the standby phase here. So that is going to target the Savage, and Savage will negate it. And then Durendal going to be used in main phase 1. That's going to add a copy of Renaud to hand. Says, doesn't that trigger an activation? No, it just says, while this card is equipped, you can add a level 5. So you activate it, and then it activates again, just as an ignition effect while it's already face up. Yeah, you guys do it whenever, as long as you haven't used it, of course, already that turn. But Rodon going to be used. That's going to tribute a token and actually use the first effect to destroy a card in the field without targeting. So that's going to hit the copy of Judgment. So there's actually the unknown back row. So Shadowman now knows that the last back row is a Solemn Strike, thanks to the knowledge given by Aqua Dolphin, of course. So this should be pretty simple to close out the game here. Gonna go for Renaud, and then add back to Rendell off of it. And then going to activate to Rendell, equipping to Charles. And then Charles' effect is going to, I would assume... Oh, wait, this doesn't target either. So, yeah, that's going to be with Strike, because that would have been the hit most likely. And then I'm going to be thinking here, going to link summon a copy of Access Code Talker, and then use the effect that is going to gain 3,000 attack, and then the other effect is going to banish Auroradon to pop the personal spoofing. And then going to activate Dark Ruler, which is interesting given the fact that Silk already was used. And the Link Rebuild. Maybe they just don't want to contend with the Link Rebuild. Oh, right, because the Fiber is equipped. I was gonna say, I thought there was another Link monster here, but yeah, without a pop, I guess that makes sense, because you want to like clear the whole board. Since you know that they have Faker in hand, so I guess they could just like, yeah, because if you don't do it this way, actually, then it would be rough, because either you keep the Melistic on board or you keep the Silk on board, and that is not a good recipe for success, given the fact that Savage has no negations anymore. Very interesting that like a lot of this board was actually just straight up broken. I do wonder if there's a way to maybe go for additional plays. But regardless, we are going to see the battle phase. So Access Code is going to attack over the Silk, and then Savage going to attack over the Melistic. No damage, of course. And then Marionette are going to be picked up off of the Melistic there. And then going to pass. Going to draw... Ooh, the other copy is Silk. That is not ideal. So you have Marionette to set a trap. You could also go for Melistic to help clear the board a little bit. It's not pretty, but it's actually not bad either. This is actually probably going to be a winnable game for Geist. I'm going to normal summon Marionette and then use the effect. That's going to set a copy of Protocol from deck. And then the other effect of Marionette is going to send itself to the graveyard to bring back the Melistic. And then battle phase, Melistic can attack and use the effect and damage step. That's going to clear the Access Code Talker. And then in main phase 2, oh, that's just going to be a straight up scoop right there. So Geist actually clearing the entire board, despite Infernoble Knight getting entire hand knowledge with the Aqua Dolphin and being able to sculpt their board accordingly. Very, very interesting to see that, you know, the spoofing with the Faker Axis as well as Strike kind of just got there. Like the Judgment was popped via the Auroradon, of course. So really only 2 disruptions, but ended up breaking the whole board. I do wonder if there was a way to maybe capitalize further on the sort of track back, right, for the Infernoble player. But regardless, we're going to move now into game number 2 here. So it looks like Infernoble is going to attempt to go first again. If you guys are enjoying this commentary, definitely be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand this time around for Infernoble is going to be Heritage of the Chalice, Renaud, the Rendell Connector, and Fire Flint Lady. So this is all gas. This hand is incredibly good. And then the opening hand for Geist is going to be Marionetter, two of them, 1-for-1, Imperm, and Solemn Strike. So if one of these was Faker, that'd be nice, but Imperm would be good if not for the fact that there's literally 4 extenders in this hand apart from connectors. So this might be a rough one. We have to hold the Imperm in this case. Going to go for connector, use that effect, and can actually chain Imperm to that. So putting the opponent on not having any extenders, I mean, you have no more hand traps. I think at this point, since you don't have any other hand traps to like try and protect from the Dolphin anyway, you might as well hold this and try and hit like Fiber, because that's like the major choke point in this deck, in most cases at least. But Fire Flint Lady is going to hit the board, and that is going to go into a copy of Isolde, and then Isolde effect is going to search. That's going to grab a copy of Gearfried, and then second effect is going to mill 3 equips to get the Aqua Dolphin this way, and then going to activate Phoenix Blade by banishing 2, and then going to pitch the Phoenix Blade for the Dolphin, and then going to rip nothing because that's the end of game 2. All right, fair enough. I mean, yeah, the hand was significantly worse than the previous hand, I guess. Just because like 1-for-1 has a much lower. Actually, it can't even activate under Herald if that's the case. So like you're in an awkward spot if like you're normally Marionetter, but then don't want to lose it to Herald negate. But then like your 1-for-1 get like Savage gated. Yeah, that hand was a lot worse than the previous hand. So understandable why you would scoop that one. But that is a short and sweet game 2 here, so let's move on into game 3. So it looks like Geist is going to go first this time around. And before we get started in game 3, just want to quickly shout out my patrons. Thank you very much for supporting the long form and consistent content. It is made possible thanks to you guys. And if you guys are interested in supporting the Patreon, definitely go ahead and check that out in the description box below. But in game 3 here, Geist is going first, and their hand is Prosperity, Imperm, Ash, Silk, and Judgment. Always interesting to see Prosperity in deck lists right now. I think Geist is a deck that can particularly benefit from it, because here Extravagance isn't guaranteed to find you a play, whereas Prosperity definitely would help you to get a lot more consistent access to the important cards. So yeah, this hand could be good depending on what this hits. And then the opening hand for Infernoble is going to be Gamma, Red Layer, Twin Twister, Phoenix Blade, and a Psychic Soldier that rides into battle against the security forces on Currents of Lightning using an autonomic amplifier called Psyframe. I'm glad that the first day that I'm back, I get to read this card's flavor text, which is my favorite part of commentating in any match. But Gamma is always good against Geist actually because it hits Marionetter, which is not bad. Okay, Melisseek 2 in Graveyard if you want to stop the Faker search. But gonna activate Pot of Prosperity here. That's going to banish, looks like 6, and then excavate rather 6 as well. So picks up a couple of good cards. Marionetter and Faker being the choices. I think you definitely grab Faker here to not lose to... Well, you have Judgment for like evenly and stuff. But Faker is definitely like the power play, given that you have like Silk already. Now, let's see what was banished here. Ningirsu, Phoenix, Linkuriboh, 2 of them. Hita and Area. So pretty fascinating. The guy's extra deck is very much not used super often. But yeah, gonna pick up Faker there and then put the rest of the 5 back to the bottom of the deck. And then going to set 2, normal summon the Silk, and then pass. For turn, the top deck is going to be Durendal, which is definitely good. This hand was actually needing it due to the fact that there were no real warriors. Unless if there was a way to resolve Gamma here. In which case it's pretty nice because then you get a free fiber. Guess out with the Twin Twister, that's going to hit both the back row. Maybe there was some lag there. Looks like there might be. But Judgment is going to be chained to negate that. And then Faker is going to come down. And then Faker effect is going to be met by Gamma. Do you Ash the Gamma here? I think you do, because you're never going to Silk at a point where Gamma is alive again. And there's no other way to make Gamma alive. So I think you definitely actually Ash this. I'm pretty sure. Unless I feel like certain that Ash will stop your opponent's turn over Silk. But most cases, Silk is better. Yeah, so going to chain Ash in response. And actually, Shadow may reveal that there was Driver in the hand to start off with. But yeah, Faker summon out Melisseek. And then going to... Looks like that was a misclick in battle phase there. But again, special summon out Red Layer. And then go to battle phase. Oh, this lines up super well. Because this card actually, unlike a lot of other cards similar to it, is not a hard once per turn to summon it by its own procedure. So if it gets bounced back, you can just summon it back. So that is quite good. Yeah, still gonna bounce it, and then main phase 2 going to special summon Revelator, and then go for Durendal, and then grab a copy of Renaud. Now Imperm is gonna have to do work here for sure. And I think it actually will, given the fact that these are the last 2 cards in hand. Get special summon out Renaud, and then add back the copy of Durendal from graveyard, and then go for the Isolde. Isolde is going to be impermed. I think you can do that because your opponent accidentally revealed that there was Driver in hand, so now you know both of the cards, or all 3 rather, since this was just added back off of the Renaud. So, yeah, that is probably just going to be Geist's game. They definitely win from this position. Gonna activate Durendal, equip to Isolde, and then pass. This way, when it goes to the graveyard, you can like special back Renaud, and then go from there. For turn, the top deck's gonna be Protocol, so it's even better. Now the Marionetter that is incoming here is going to grab a copy of Manifestation instead, so that's quite good. Gonna link both monsters away for a copy of Hexia, and then mostly gonna search for a copy of... Oh, that's gonna be the end of the match. But yeah, that was gonna grab Marionetter for sure, and then just going to go off from there. So Geist actually gonna take this match 2-1. Given the fact that Infernoble won the die roll, that is very, very nice for sure. Geist is always an interesting deck in the format. Definitely one that always kind of like ebbs and flows within, you know, kind of the rogue tiers. Prosperity is super cool to see in this deck because, again, the problem with Geist a lot of the time is that it just opens very awkwardly. So this can help, you know, fill in the missing pieces as opposed to Extravagance, which could either aid your situation or just not do anything. So this card's nice for sure. But yeah, definitely well played. And that's going to be it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me via Patreon TCG Player. All the links in the description as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.